Critical Blast, where pop culture gets blasted.
And good evening for the second time tonight. I am RJ Carter, Senior Managing Editor here at criticalblast.com, where pop culture gets blasted. We are doing a twofer tonight. We are talking to two different campaigns, and we had Frank Martin on earlier tonight with The Last Homicide. I encourage you to check out the archives and pull that one up for some crime noir thriller comics. And welcoming back to the channel for another go-around, because we didn't scare him off the first time, so we got to do better. We have Dojo Comics here with Siamese. We're talking that again. You just launched this thing yesterday, right?
Yes, last night. Thanks for having me on, RJ.
I'm glad to do it. Yeah, you went on Bancroft's show.
Right. Yeah, there was a great swelling of support there. I can't thank the people there enough.
Yeah, he's increasingly becoming the show to go on to launch. I've seen a lot of people get good success.
Yeah, you're right.
Through him. It's very strong community there, and they love to back comics. So you're 71% funded, so the Bancroft bump definitely delivered for you.
It sure did. Yeah, we got quite a ways into it by the time we were done with the 1 hour stream. We had more than 30 backers. Got a couple more backers on Phoenix Animation's show today, and I think I got one on Sugar Chris's show this morning. So I'm starting to do the rounds again. The last time I was on your show, it was just a sign-up page. We were able to talk a bit about Siamese and some of the things I had done before, but now we get to go through the campaign itself, and you can see the live tiers and add-ons, and so it's exciting, and just can't wait to show you.
Yeah, well, that's why I've got the stream here, and we're gonna. That's not the one I want. That's yours. We'll bring yours up a little bit later. You got a website to show us here.
Yes, sir.
Of course, I don't mind doing two shows a night, especially tonight of all nights. You saw our new intro video.
Yeah, wow.
Up there. That was a fiber commission pulled off at the last minute, and I was looking for intro videos, and I saw that bat signal. I'm like, well, that just screams this channel. Of course I want to have that one.
That was good. Yeah,
she had a 24-hour turnaround, and she turned it around in like 4. I was like, oh yeah,
wow.
I'm definitely happy with that. $15 well spent.
No kidding. Wow, that's fantastic.
Well, it's all of it was pre-made. All she had to do was play with the logo and get it on the wireframe. Because she's done several of that same video for other people.
Oh, okay.
Different companies. I'm like, yeah, I want that one. I want the logo, but I want the reverse logo on the spotlight, because it makes sense then that it would be on the cloud.
Yeah.
I'd seen some examples where people didn't flip their logo, and I'm like, that won't work. I've actually seen a Batman episode where they put something on the thing and then shown it up into the sky. I'm like, nope.
Needs to be backwards. You're right.
It's got to be backwards if you want to print it up right. This is not backwards. This is pretty straightforward here, and you've got a video of your own. So we're going to give this a play and take a look at the Siamese video.
Thank you.
Now, I'll admit, I always have the Disney song playing in my head from Lady and the Tramp when I think of your channel.
I'll bet.
From Dojo Comics comes Siamese, the story of two Chinese-American college graduates whose deviation gene makes them extraordinary enough to become superheroines.
Super choppy.
Trade paperback combines
that would be
the 4-issue Siamese miniseries previously published by Dojo Comics. As our ladies discover their newfound power, we'll be introduced to other Dojo-kun comics characters such as the Countryman, Breathtaker, Brickhouse, the Scarlet Archer, and Psionica. Dojo-kun Comics has released over a dozen comics so far. You can pledge with confidence knowing that obligations will be fulfilled. Superheroes are coming back. Don't miss out on Siamese.
All right. Now that played smoothly on my end, as you know, even watching it through the StreamYard. It was choppy. Apparently, it was choppy on the push out.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't. I'll watch it on the playback, and then I'll go like, "Oh, that was horrible looking." So, what kind of feedback have you gotten? Now that people are seeing the characters, and you've been making the rounds, what are people saying about these pair of identical Siamese twins? No, they're not Siamese twins. They're twins, and they're called Siamese.
Right. Yeah, they're not conjoined, but they are both Chinese Americans, so that's why they're able to play on the name Siamese. I think they like them. There's been some comparisons made to Catwoman because of how they look, and the fact that they've got powers similar to Catwoman and or Black Cat from Marvel. But it would be almost impossible to come up with characters that don't have some kind of similarity to someone that came before. Basically, the thing that differentiates them from those characters is they need to be written differently with different characterization, different behavior patterns and things like that. So these two, they're going to be played off of one another as twins with that special bond. And the fun thing is that they refer to themselves in the plural whenever they speak, even if they're only referring to one of them.
That was I was going to ask you about that. I mean, if anybody, if they're on their own and they're asked, who are you? They'd say, we are Siamese.
Yes, they would.
Even if there's just one of them there.
Yes. Yep.
I like I said, I've got what's her name in the back of my head going, Siamese, if you please.
The two Siamese cats from Lady and the Tramp.
Yes, exactly. Now, one of the things that does differentiate them, though, from Catwoman and from Black Cat, and the only Catwoman I see is the Batman the Animated Series one, where she was in that gray suit with the tail. But they do have a superpower. They have they're more cat-like than just a suit, right?
Right. Throughout the series, things change for them. Now, the prehensile tail that they have is actually a tail, so it's not just their costume. They're able to use that to maneuver, to grab things, to trip people. And then toward the end of the trade paperback, they have an issue where they're turned into werecats, and they have to deal with that. And the only reason I'm able to reveal that is because it's obvious, because on one of the covers, it's pretty clear that that's what happens. I can tell you, though, that that's against their will, and they've got to deal with that. Okay,
that was I was going to ask you, because you said they were turned into, not that
right.
That was an evolution of their powers or a side of their powers. Now, I won't ask you if that's a permanent change, because that would be probably some spoiler
stuff. That's spoilery.
Yeah. And whether they can go back and forth from it, even if they get it. But so we're seeing some interior art here. We didn't get to see this before when you had just the mailing list sign up. So this is going to give us a little bit more insight into the story here. 18 lives. Because there's 2 times 9. Come on.
Did you want
I
to
can do that,
show?
man.
Did you want to show the campaign on screen?
Thank you. I'm sitting here looking at my screen, like I'm like, yeah, we're all looking at the art. Yeah, right. Yeah. I took it down because I wanted to cleanly take the video back to a refresh state.
Okay.
And then I didn't bring it back up. I told you I'm not in the right headspace for doing shows. I was 3 nights off, and you really get out of the habit quickly of running a show.
Yeah, I can see why.
I'll have to do another 18-hour marathon Saturday and get myself back into shape.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. If you want to do that.
No, I don't want to do that. I've done 12 hours and that'll kill me. So these are some of the characters that populate the Siamese universe here, and it's not really the Siamese universe. Your main character is someone else, right?
Right. The main character, the flagship character, is going to be Deanna, Hammer of the Angels. So this 4-issue miniseries leads into Deanna's 4-issue miniseries, and that number 1 is almost done. We're producing that one. We're on page 19 of 22 for Deanna, Hammer of the Angels. And then when that miniseries is done, it'll lead into the ongoing not monthly, that's optimistic, the ongoing team book called Trident's New Alliance. And so Siamese will be in that group, Deanna will be in that group, and some of the characters introduced in both of their miniseries will also be in that group. What you're seeing here are supervillains. They're supervillain CEOs. And I've been joking along the way I know that sounds redundant, superhero CEO or supervillain CEO, but they are set up as a subplot in issue number 1. The girls actually don't face them. They face off with just one of them as time proceeds. They really meet up with them and battle them later in the scripts. So not in Siamese at all, but their subplot story begins here.
Okay. Now, you just said that Diana's story is issue 1's mostly done. Backtracking, that means that all the Siamese issues are actually done. That's an important thing to make clear.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So these 4 issues have already been previously published by Dojo Kun Comics, and they're available on my website if you want to get the floppies. This here is the trade paperback, which collects them. So there's 22 pages per issue, so that's 88 pages. They've got 4 covers that will be inside the trade paperback, so now we're up to 92 pages. There's going to be a section of fan art, a section of professional pinups, and there will be a behind-the-scenes like concept art section as well. So it's going to be over 100 pages, this book.
That's a lot of book for $35 here that I'm seeing for these 2 tiers off to the side.
Right.
This TSA guy, I don't know if he's aware of it or not, but she's not concealing anything where
right.
where he's frisking her.
I think he's just being thorough,
He's just being very thorough.
Right.
God bless their job, because, hey, the next person comes along isn't going to be nearly as fun.
I'm sure that it averages out.
Yeah. You take your perks where you can get them.
Right. So the first 3 pages you looked at were done by the artist in the first 2 issues. That's Mike Salter. And then the page you're on now showing the weather manipulator, that's the artist Zilson Costa, who did issues 3 and 4. All
right. And seeing her tail pop up here, you said that the tails are real, and you can tell the 2 apart because of their tails.
That's the only way you can tell them apart, when they're in costume. Yes, the one with the white tail is the older of the 2 by 10 minutes. She is sort of like the mother figure for the younger. She's more responsible, more mature. The younger one is the crazy wild one who yells YOLO and jumps into battle. The one seated there with the embarrassed look on her face is the older of the 2. The other one's having fun embarrassing the TSA agents. And in the dialogue, when you get the book and read it, you'll see that there's something the other TSA agent is having a look at in her suitcase, which has got her shocked.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
The reason I scrolled back up to this scene here, though, is because, with the tails being real, and then you said they're real when they're in costume. Do they appear and disappear like Bruce Banner's pants or something?
No, they have them tucked strategically away when they're in civilian clothing. Just like the angel used to tuck those massive wings into a polo shirt somehow
Yeah.
with some kind
Okay.
of metal harness or something. So,
Okay.
you know,
I'll buy the comic book physics because I'm like
yeah,
those yoga
suspension of
pants are.
disbelief.
Well, I remember there was a scene in Captain America, and it made it into the No Prize book where Stan was talking about the because at one time, Steve Rogers had a secret identity as Captain America.
Right.
He had his life as Steve Rogers, and then he would change into Captain America, and he kept his shield on his back and then put a shirt over it. And
Yeah.
they showed his shirt raised up one time to show the bottom half of the shield, and there was like no lump under the shirt for the top half of the shield. It's like, yeah, it didn't really work, but we tried it anyway.
Because comic books.
Because comic books. Okay, so we will let the viewers imagine where that tail is tucked.
And, some of them can, enjoy searching for it if they want to look closely.
Yeah, well, maybe she's found a way to put it in her suitcase. And we talked about the werecat scene, and
Right.
this is of course that transformation here.
So who they're facing there are the Doberman gang. RJ, you may remember that movie from the 1970s, the Doberman gang, where they trained the dogs to go in and rob the bank on their behalf. They used the whistles from afar, and
Yeah,
they sent the dogs with collars.
that's not who I was immediately thinking of though when I saw the Doberman gang.
Oh, okay.
I was thinking of another group of dog-themed bank robbers called the Beagle Boys.
Oh, I remember that too. Yeah.
From the Duck stories, Carl Barks and Uncle Scrooge and all those. Well, the Disney stuff. Unsung villains. They don't get nearly enough screen time in any of the Disney cartoons. They were only in the comic books, in fact, I think. They might have been in DuckTales.
I don't know.
You got to watch more cartoons, man.
I'm busy making comics.
Yeah, well, and successfully, we should add at that. So here's where we're going to start looking at the tiers, and this is good. I don't have to go back up here. You can back it without a reward for $5. Come on, you want this? You can get the digital, and remember, this is 100 pages and more for $15. So it's a big digital,
Right?
and then of course this is the trade paperback. You're not 100 pages. You can't staple that. I can't imagine.
No, you're right. It will be perfect bound. Yep.
Okay. And I love the trade dress on the cover here. I almost wish it was hardback, or at least stiff and textured. I don't know what kind of paper are you looking at for the cover. Are you going to do the standard comic paper, or are you going to get a little heavier?
A standard comic cover.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like the 100-page DC books you used to find at Walmart, then.
Right.
About that size.
Yep.
All right.
So that art there is by Gilbert Monsanto, an artist from the Philippines. He did those 3 pinups that we put on the cover. Then the next one is a variant by Arias Hernandez, also from the Philippines. He is a former Disney animator. He worked on The Lion King, Tarzan, and Kim Possible.
Very cool. That's quite a get. How did you find him?
Well, when we look at my website, there will be a pretty good anecdotal story about how he came to be on the Dojo Kun staff. So I'll kind of save it for then. But yeah, you're right. That is a very big get. He's great to work with. Yeah. This Isaiah Bradley variant is he's also working with Dojo Kun Comics on another comic book that's in the works. I've got 6 books in the works right now. So what I did was I grabbed the artists for those books and asked them to do variants for me. So here's another one of them.
This has got a very unique quality to it. This almost got like an 80s. You remember that back when computer generated comics were like a huge thing, and they did that Batman Digital Justice.
Oh yeah, the 3D. I've got that. Yep.
Yeah. This kind of got that kind of pixely, grainy look to it. That I mean, on purpose, unless it's just a bad scan, but I don't think that's the case.
Right. Yeah. It's got action to it. Those shards are supposed to look like they're flying out at you.
Yeah,
So
nice texture to it. And then you got the variants. Hey, Pops Van Sant is in the show. He says you're
hey, Pop.
everywhere. Pops is everywhere.
Yeah.
I'm surprised Pops saw this because something else different we're doing on this show is we didn't do it to Facebook. We did it to Twitter. Because I've always had the option and I've just never tried it. So, hey, if you're on Twitter, retweet this thing. See how this thing's working out for us using the Periscope option.
Yeah, that's great.
So who's doing the variant cover on this one now?
This is Bruno Hitano. He's working on a adult themed book with me. If you remember the Marvel swimsuit editions,
Yes.
a lot of my characters will be in that edition, and they will be Sans the swimsuit.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so that will be adult only.
You're going for a six-figure crowdfunder now.
Well, let's hope. It'll have to be censored when I do the campaign, but I think you'll get the idea.
We'll get the idea. If you'll have to put more black bars on your characters than John Malin had to put on his.
Yeah. On the cover that was apparently too sensitive for
too sensitive for YouTube because
I did back visions. That looks like it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, I've got to get that one on my list. My list is shortening down now, so it's time to grow it back out. Yeah, I got to make more money in the old PayPal first.
And so this cover here is
Zilson Costa.
Right, Zilson is the artist on issues 3 and 4 of Siamese, so I asked him to do a cover. Couldn't go without a cover from Zilson. And then the last variant, just below that, is a limited edition hardcover variant by the Barton brothers. So Clayton and Corey did this one up for me.
So there is a hardcover.
There is. They do a fantastic job of lots of detail. And this one, like I said, is limited edition. The last I looked, 18 of them had already been snapped up. So there's 2 different tiers that this one's available in. The one that this is available by itself, where there are 50, and then there's the complete kitty box, which we can talk about as we get further down, and it's available in that tier as well.
All right, and by the way, I want to point out again here. I love the design here that was done in the logo. How they, making the M by the 2 sisters holding hands and walking away.
Yeah, thank you.
It's very Last Supper-ish kind of sort of where if you've read the Da Vinci Code and it's like, look, there's an M in the middle because of the way these people are sitting and it means something.
Oh yes, okay. But I don't have any Fibonacci codes, sorry, or sequence, Fibonacci sequence, whatever it was.
Oh, yeah, that was a. As fun as the Da Vinci Code was, the Angels and Demons book was a bigger mind screw with what was going on symbologically there.
Ooh, did you just make up a word?
I think I did. It was symbology and it was symbological. So,
all right.
But no, the artist that he got, there were like the 4 words of the 4 elements: earth, fire, wind, and water, and all that, or air. And he had one of these special artists do it, and I don't know what the technique is called, but basically it was a very calligraphy kind of style where you see the word, and when you turn it upside down, you see the word.
Right.
So, yeah, and then to really mess it up, if you took all 4 of the words and shoved them together, you saw one more word, and if you turned it upside down, you saw the same word again. Like, I
wow.
Imagine
that takes some skill.
Yeah, so I don't know what kind of a job you can get with that, other than illustrating one book. So you've got to know. You have a trade paperback and I'm gonna do this for Bancroft since he kicked you off. You have an aluminum wall print.
Right. Nice. So yes, here it's a 12 by 18 wall print, so it's big. And it'll come with the regular cover, and that features the issue number 4 cover, but without the trade dressing. So it's the virgin version.
Okay, so you chose to go with the lichen? No, it's not. They wouldn't be lycanthropic. They'd be philanthropic. They're not philanthropic.
No, you're right. It's lycanthropy.
I thought lichen was wolf.
Oh, I see. It's specific. Okay.
Yeah, it's
So philanthropin?
yeah. I was
I
going to
don't
say
know.
philanthropic, but that means you're giving away money. You got to spell it differently. Felixtropic.
There you go.
So yeah, they change into cats. So I'm really surprised you went with that one as opposed to something more like the airport scene where
Oh,
yeah, that's what I want to hang on my wall.
yeah.
Next time.
There you go.
Maybe get a nice aluminum. Now, you have these aluminum prints in a demo. I mean, did they give you a proof copy of one?
The person doing this for me is Phoenix Animation, and he's got a video on Twitter where he shows a very small 4x6 version of it, just to give you the idea of how it looks. He's going to print it on 12x18 for me, though, because at least one person has purchased this tier.
Okay, cool. Because I've seen him do this metal die sublimation with other things, but I didn't know how stiff or how thick the aluminum would be. I never really thought about what metals they were printing on.
Oh yeah, it looks like it's pretty rigid, so I think it'll be good, and
It's
it'll
not
sit.
foil.
Right. And then the last tier is the Ultimate Siamese Kitty Box. In the last tier, you'll get all 6 versions. So you'll get the comic book 6 times with the various covers, the chibi stickers, the poker chip, the canvas print, which is the bottom left there, the metal keychain, which is on antique bronze, and then 1 copy of the entire back catalog of Dojo Kun Comics. So you'll get all 12 issues of the comics we've published before.
And it's all going to come in this nice little
box. In that like slipcase box. Yep.
Now, you said all 6 covers. That's not including the hardcover?
Yes, it is.
Wow. For $300. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Well then, that's a deal. Now these other things down here, are they available as add-ons?
Yes, sir. If you keep on scrolling, we'll get to those too. But yes, they are.
Here they are, add-on perks.
Nice segue. So yes, there'll be a $5 patch available. That's right there. That'll make Shay happy.
Shay is happy. She's got her patch. Now,
yep.
Now RJ will be happy because there's going to be stickers. Okay. Yes, there they are.
Yep. There's the chibi stickers. I know you like those.
I like stickers. I don't like chibis, but I'll take.
Oh, you don't?
Well, I don't not like chibis, but
Well, I'll tell you what, RJ.
On my laptop, I'd like this. Just the die cut around.
If I see you back it, I'll send you one of these. This is a sticker.
Oh well, I will let you know what my number is when we're all done. Now the poker chip's an interesting one. What? Why did you go with a poker chip? That's I'm just curious if it's like a gambling story involved, or is it related to the book somehow?
What it is one of my mentors as far as campaigning, and he really helped with ideas as far as tiers go. He said that he had poker chips available on one of his campaigns, and there were people who were buying his trading cards just to get the poker chip. He said, and then giving the trading cards to their niece or something, and they just wanted the poker chips. So I went ahead and got a vendor to produce a bunch of them for me. So I've got those in hand already. It's got Dojo Kun on one side and Siamese the cats on the other with the Gilbert Monsanto art.
Yes, people collect different things.
And Bancroft is happy with that because he used to be a professional poker player.
No, that doesn't surprise me. What does surprise me is the used to be part of that.
Right. Well, I don't know if settling down had anything to do with it, or if Melanie said no more.
He's got a little bit of that James Bond in him when you watch the shows. That I could see him at playing Mont Blanc or something.
Wow, you're going to give him an even huger head.
It won't fit in the screen if we do that.
Right.
Pops is collecting the poker chips and the challenge coins, and I've seen somebody do guitar picks.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah, I mean, because I guess they're unique, they're collectible, and they're small. They you can put like 1,000 of them in a box on your shelf.
Right. Yeah, that would be easy to include in a Gemini mailer with the comics. You bet.
Now here
So,
is the
yep.
the antique bronze keychain.
Yes, sir.
That is very. So who'd you go through for metal keychains that were? I'm guessing that's a hard enamel on top of the bronze.
Right. Yeah, I'd have to look that up for you and send you the info. I reached out to those vendors quite a while ago as I was building this campaign.
Probably somebody like Pin Wizard. They do that a lot.
Do they?
At least they're the ones that have been reaching out to me to because I've been mentioning Sticker Mule all the time. So Pin Wizard decided to get in on the game and start trying to talk me into some stuff and
Gotcha.
take off Google at some point. Hey, Bap2 is in the chat. Hello, Bap. Haven't seen you in a while. Hope you're doing well, my friend.
Hail Bap2. Thanks for being here.
And Pops has guitar picks. Pops has dog tags. Now, they'd have to be cat tags if.
Right.
Get my mouse to work here again. We'll be okay. And now you get this. This is the canvas print. Now this, when you say canvas, you're not saying that this is a paper print with a canvas look to it, but actual canvas.
Printed on canvas. That's right.
Is this loose canvas, or has it been like stretched and bound to the frame?
It'll be loose.
Okay, so it'll roll up.
It can. I plan to put it flat in the Gemini mailer with the comic book. It's not huge. It'll fit with the comic book.
Yeah, it's an 8x10, so it's the size of a comic. I got that.
Right.
So that's interesting. That you actually. I don't know how they print on canvas. You send it to somebody else, and it's their problem, right?
Yeah, exactly. Right. And then this poster.
Oh, hello.
This one will also be comic book sized. This is Siamese and Deanna Hammer of the Angels, and as you can see, Siamese is helping her with her modesty.
Yes, I can see that. I hope their tails are not fuzzy, because that might be ticklish or something. So this is not her normal attire, I'm guessing, through the rest of her story.
Correct. It is not.
Okay. This is a whoa, it got your attention, didn't I? This is who she is now, kind of thing.
Exactly.
And this is also this is also 8x10ish comic sized print.
Yes, it'll be comic sized
paper.
Yes.
Yeah, that'll sell.
Now with the stretch goals, I don't have a dollar amount on there yet, and I've been researching and learning a lot about that. Yeah, not only that, but I want to see what the pace of the support is. If I were to put it at, say, 4,000, which is just a little bit higher than my original goal, and we get to it quickly, I'm not trying to be, braggadocio here, but if we get to it quickly, then it's not so much of a stretch goal, is it?
Yeah.
I'd really like it to be something that would set up, an incentive for people to back it. So I'm going to wait and see after a few days what the first stretch goal might be. So it'll be the 4 covers of the Siamese miniseries. You'll get a print, so 6x9 prints of each of the 4 covers.
Awesome, that'll work.
The next stretch goal will be 6x9 prints of all 6 of the variant, or the regular cover and the variant covers of the current.
Because you're not using the original covers for any of the trades, are you?
Right, I'm not.
Okay.
They will be inside the trade, but it won't be on the cover of the trade.
And then, talking about challenge coins.
Right, yeah, Pops, that was a good segue there. There will be a challenge coin available as a stretch goal. Again, not sure at what point yet, but I'd really like to produce those. That'll be, my company is producing those for anyone who served in the military as a thank you to them. So when I was on the task force to put that together, I thought that would be a great idea for my campaign as well.
Now,
so I reached out to a vendor and
challenge coins for the veterans.
So the company I work for as a day job, where I'm a fraud examiner,
Gotcha.
That company is doing it for the veterans.
Gotcha. Okay. Now, so when I'm looking at the artwork here, this is not like silver coins with a sticker put on each side of them. They're going to be debossed.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, this is going to be, those will be embossed, raised figure or images on a coin.
That is cool. Okay, yeah, that's a stretch goal, not an add-on, so we can't just go out there and buy it.
Right.
Oh, so
And
this is
then
what I was hearing about in the chat the other night. Okay.
This one here, this is going to be a lofty stretch goal if we get to it. I did some research as to what it would cost to have them designed and molded, and it's on the order of $7,000 to $10,000 just to have that part of it done.
Yeah.
And then there is a a 2,000 action figure minimum for your first order. So I did ask them, is it possible that 1,000 of them have a black tail and 1,000 of them have a white tail? Because I'd really like the action figure to be the set of the two of them in a blister pack on a card. And they said they would do that for me. So,
oh, that's nice. So you kind of cut your work in half that way.
Kind of, yeah. I still have to order 2,000 of them, but at least it'll be, 1,000 of each, and they can be combined in a single blister pack. Yep.
And they'll be articulated, so you'll be able to get them into those cat-like poses.
Right. Or whatever poses you want to put them in.
Watch it. Family show.
I'm being careful. Action poses.
We're marking up for kids.
Fighting poses,
yeah, they're sisters, people. Get your minds out of the gutter. But, you could always, they look really nice as a 3D print statue set, too.
They would.
If they had like a base with the two of them just standing on there. Maybe even in your logo pose, just holding hands and walking away and looking back over their shoulders. That would be.
Ooh, that's a good idea.
Hello, George. George, we need you. George Peter Gatsis in your 3D printer. Get in here and talk to us. George does 3D prints for a lot of CG and crowdfunding folks. And he does them at this very reasonable, like at cost kind of thing. He just needs, multiple drawings to work from. Those will become actual stretch goals at some point once funding has been achieved. At this point, let's see, 2544, drum roll. 2602.
Did you say 2544?
That's what it was.
Wow, that means that there was a backer before you hit refresh there just now.
That's what I was looking for. That brings us our shake and bake moment, sir.
It's shake and bake, and I help. It's shake and bake, and I help.
So this guy could have come from replaying Bancroft's stream. I don't care. It happened during my show. I'm taking the credit for it.
There you go. So actually, there's two that happened during your show.
Oh, well, yes, there were. 74% of 3,500. Folks, it would make my heart swell with pride to see this thing get fully funded during one of our shows. I'm realistic. That's a lot. Boob Dan Art, he was with us last Saturday. He was with us during Podcast Palooza with Goblin Girl. Yes, he says definitely a 3D sculpture would be cool. I agree. Like nice little 6-inch, sculpt of the two.
Shout out to Boob Dan Art because he did a fan art piece of Siamese, and it is going to be in the book.
You know what? That just underscores what I love about this whole thing. This whole movement is that everybody is working on their own books, and they're helping out everybody else's books. They're either turning in fan art or they're giving shout outs back to each other. I'm sitting here referring people to George for work that I'm not getting paid for. I'm spending other people's money. I'm really good at that. But and I've said this so many times on so many different streams that this is not how the mainstream industry has ever worked. 1969 in the DC offices, Julie Schwartz sitting there at his desk. The phone did not ring. Say, "Hey, Julie, Stan, over here at Marvel. Yeah, we're going to do this Spider-Man thing here, and I got a couple of questions about how." Hello.
Yeah,
they didn't work together like that.
No,
this is different. Everybody realizes that the rising tide raises all boats, and part of it is also that, hey, I've got people who are willing to work with me. Let me get my name out there a little bit more and spread around and let people see my work. But it doesn't matter. The net effect is still everybody's helping each other.
Yes. So the success of Kimosabi and the company men can only help the success of Siamese, because we are in this community together and very supportive, and like you said, with the rising tide, you betcha.
Yeah, absolutely. And the success of the company men and the Embrace and Red Eyes 2 will actually be the success of Critical Blast, because we are the fulfillment house for those 3 projects. So
awesome.
That is why, if you go back to company men, it does not cost you $25 to ship it to the United States. It's going to cost you more along the lines of $12, which is a lot closer to what you would expect for a domestic shipping. Maybe $1 more, $2 more, but it's not one of those things. Oh, more than the book, I'm going to back out of it.
Right.
Which is why we came up with the idea. And now, of course, we're doing it for even people who live here, because they realize that, yeah, I'm paying more to have somebody else do it, but that's also 2 weeks that I can be drawing and writing and not stuffing boxes.
Exactly.
Totally worth it. Totally worth it. Well, Brian, is there anything else about the campaign that people should know? I know you're getting ready to jump over to ComicsMate for their channel, so everybody, follow him over there. I'm going to do the same.
So yeah, if you don't mind, I'll real quickly jump to my website.
Yeah, that's right here. And I'll go ahead and get full screen. We don't have to be seen to talk about it.
Okay. So here at the top, we talk about Siamese and some of the add-ons and stretch goals. Here is a video. If you click there, if you go to dojokuncomics.wixsite.com/dojokuncomics, you can click on this and see a very good representation. It's a small version of the metal print, but it'll give you an idea of what it'll look like when it's in this full 12 by 18. K Manifesto from the chat, he and I are going to start our own stream. It'll be beginning on April 22nd at 8 p.m. and we'll be going weekly. So we've got a couple minutes. I'm going to hit that promo if you don't mind.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay.
The K Manifesto Show with Dojo Kun Comics was developed with fans and creators of independent comics in mind. For many of us, comic books are the greatest medium for storytelling, and we want to experience that excitement of comics with you. Join us in the chat each week as we discuss topics related to indie comics and crowdfunding. We'll feature interviews with some of the best creators of indie comics. Whether you're a fan, a creator, or a seasoned crowdfunder, the K Manifesto Show with Dojo Kun Comics has you covered. Be sure to subscribe to get notifications of every episode that drops. The K Manifesto Show with Dojo Kun Comics.
So you are going to be a co-host on a show now.
Yes, sir.
So this is all practice. I see how we're helping you out now.
Right. Well, Kevin K Manifesto, he and I both have broadcast experience. He currently works as a video production manager for local government, and I was a radio disc jockey for several years some time ago. I graduated from the Specs Howard School of Broadcast Arts. So the two of us with our broadcast experience, we're going to lean into our strengths and see if we can't make this a professionally produced live show.
That was my other career choice that I didn't make, Brian.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah, when I was in high school, I was doing well at computers, and I did an essay for DeVry, and I got the scholarship to go there. But my love was radio broadcasting. I used to do the radio broadcast portion of the competitions for the speech team. And I went all the way to state finals, and I was sick, and I flubbed some stuff like I had the flu. I said, okay, well, next year. And then next year they cut the budget. We didn't have a speech team. And that year, the first prize for state was a full ride scholarship to Broadcast Center, which was, the radio school in St. Louis.
Oh my gosh.
I could have had an entirely different course of my life had that not fallen, if they hadn't cut education. By the way, number 38. That's the thing you want to remember.
Awesome. I will do that. And one of these stickers will be in the package for you. Go ahead.
Which brings us to, and I'm refreshing the page. I know I'm not showing it on the screen here. I just want to bring it back up. An even, so to speak, 75% of the $3,500 fixed goal.
Oh,
So,
hey, I tweeted out earlier we were at 71. Is it possible to get to 75 before 24 hours pass? And we did it. Thank you. You got us there about 45 minutes before 24 hours passed.
hey, if anything can be done at the 11th hour, that's when I do my best work.
So next here is, you may know Hockey from the chat and a lot of different chats. He did a time-lapse video of him drawing this picture of Yao, which is one of the Siamese girls. So if you come to my website and click on this, you can watch him in time-lapse drawing that character.
Sweet.
Real quick, I'll say that this here, The Shifter, is a book that I'm working on. Hopefully will launch later this year. It's a license that I have from Janice Hardy, the award-winning author of this trilogy, The Healing Wars. And she was excited to license an exclusive license for Dojo-kun Comics to turn this into a graphic novel. So as you can see, Zilson is already busy at making the pages for that book as well.
You going to crowdfund that or just do it direct?
Yes. No, I will crowdfund that. But we want to get a lot more of it done before we launch that campaign.
Sure.
Also this year, I'm working with Dave Brink from, you may know him from Perfect 10, and
Yes.
The Earthling, and Ajax from Genuine Comics. He and I are working together to put together a trading card set that we will release, I think, this year. We're going to have 100 cards in the core set, and he and I are talking about what we'd like the cards to look like. This is just sort of a sample of what they might look like. He's got some better ideas than just a white background. And we're also talking about what our add-ons and stretch goals might look like. So that one's still in development. I have some merch available. These shirts are real nice.
People should do trading cards with more of a chase in mind when they're doing them with their crowdfundings. I think it would be great if you could get like 9 people who know each other, have 9 different campaigns, and have one person draw this 3x3 grid of the 9 characters in battle or with a consistent background, and then each card just belongs to the different campaigns, and then they cross advertise. So if you want to get all 9 of them, you've got to go hit these other campaigns as well.
Oh, nice! And that would look nice in the 9-card sleeve too.
That's exactly like the X-Men Flair cards did in the 90s.
DC did something like that too.
Yes, they did. So maybe you were going to get the Siamese trade paperback, you were going to get the Embrace, but now you're like, oh, I got these 2 cards, they go together. Now you've got to go get the other 7 because we're very OCD that way.
We are collectors.
And you'll be introduced to 7 other creators that you didn't know before.
That's a great idea. Maybe he and I will start talking about that.
These are this is what I do, Brian. I throw shit out there and let people run with it.
So there's some merch if you'd like to. These T-shirts are very affordable. I think they're less than $10 a piece. So they're comfortable. This is screen print on cotton, so that's nice. So here's what I alluded to earlier. Arias Hernandez, the Disney animator, did the one variant cover for Siamese. He reached out to me and said, I've heard some good things about you, Brian. Would you be willing to produce my comic under your banner? I've got 64 issues of Magun War produced in Tagalog, the language of the Philippines.
Wow.
And I'd like to take it to Indiegogo, but Indiegogo doesn't allow for campaigns from the Philippines. So I was kind of hesitant at first. I'm like, I don't know if I want to have a creator-owned comic under my banner. Why don't you send me some art? I'll take this is what he sent me. And I was like, oh, okay, yes. Like, wow, this is great. And I said, this is a beautiful cover. He's like, oh, that's not even a cover. The cover has her on a sky cycle and blah, blah, blah. And so it's like, wow. So he and I are working on that together. I don't know how soon it'll be. We're delayed by a few things that are going on in his country. But what he's doing is he's doing his best to translate it to English. And then I'm doing some editing to make it, proper English, proper punctuation, grammar, things like that.
Sure. If you need a proofreader, I'm good at scansion. I generally find these things for crowdfunders after they've already published their pages. Like, oh, you spelled that wrong.
Well, I used to be a proofreader at an accounting firm years ago, so.
Oh, you got it covered then.
But sometimes when you're as close to it as I'll be, it may need another set of eyes.
Resistance Publishing Group in the chat. Welcome, welcome.
Oh yeah, hey guys. So
now, I should also mention to the new viewers too that you're called Dojo Kun Comics because you are a karate instructor.
Not an instructor. I'm a student.
A student. Okay.
Karateka. Yep. And I've been a student since college, which was, if you saw me on screen a few minutes ago, you probably figured that that's been a few days. So yes, Shotokan Karate, and the Dojo Kun are the 5 rules of the Karate Dojo. The Toro, as you see here in the name of this anthology, Toro Tales. The
Right.
Toro is the stone lantern in my logo.
Okay. So is that a story of the actual lantern then? I mean, that it becomes iconic in your logo for the rest of your series? I mean.
Oh, no, that's just a name for this anthology series that's got 4 different stories in it. This one here is just a 22-page floppy with 4 stories, and then down here, issue number 2 is underway. That one's going to be over 100 pages. There's 12 stories in that one. So I've got that one in the works. I'd say that one's about 60% done. This is 2 separate stories in a single book, Night Mist and the Scarlet Archer. Alliances is a team-up book. So Breathtaker will be the host of each issue, and then she'll have a rotating guest star like Marvel 2-in-1, Marvel Team Up, Brave and the Bold, and DC Presents did in the 80s and 90s. Dojo Kun Comics Annual Compendium is like the official handbook of the Marvel Universe, where there's over 100 characters in the Dojo Kun universe so far, and they each have their own page with stats and history and first appearance and their power set explained.
Cool.
The Loved Ones is a 100-page black and white horror adventure story. The concept was by David Whalen. I wrote the book, and then he did all of the art and lettering. You can get either version of the book. Things don't go well for those kids. These kids are the kids of the classic movie monsters, the werewolf, the vampire boy, the witch girl, and the son of Frankenstein.
Reminds me of the Draft Pack cartoon series that used to run on Saturday mornings.
Oh, okay. I don't recall that one.
Yeah, they were all the sons of the monsters, and they.
Oh, were they?
Last
All right.
Season.
Mad King is a 3-issue miniseries that features a king who gets discontent with his kingdom and decides to go out and get a hobby. He sneaks out at night and becomes a serial killer.
Oh, well.
Everybody needs a hobby.
Yes. England should love that book.
I Am Become Death it was a novella that I asked the author if I could turn into a comic book. He agreed, Nicholas Prontka. It's a short one, though. So this comic book is only 12 pages long. In order to meet the Indie Planet print-to-order minimum of 22 pages, what I did was I had professional artists do a pinup gallery of Breathtaker for the rest of that issue. Breathtaker is this gal right here.
She will take your breath away.
Her first appearance is in Siamese number 2, and she's in 3 and 4 too. So if you get the books, if you get the trade paperback, I mean, she will be featured there.
So where's this pinup book at? Come on.
The one that she's in, it's this one right here.
No. The pinup book that you hinted at earlier.
Oh, yeah, that one is still under development. Don't have anything to show you just yet. That one's about 50% done.
Okay. She'll be in it, though, right?
Yes, Breathtaker is definitely in it. So are Siamese. I've selected a few characters, though, who opt out of posing for the book, if you will, just to make it kind of, as if they were asked to be a part of it.
Oh, I gotcha. Yeah, that'd be cool. Makes it cross that comic book to real world boundary a little bit.
Right. So there's a few who feel that would be inappropriate for either their station in life or, their family or whatever. They decided not to be a part of it. I'm deciding to put in. Unfortunately, sorry guys, Deanna is one of those that chose not to. And the reason I did that is that poster is daring enough because Deanna, Hammer of the Angels, is based on my wife. Because her name is Deanna. A lot of her coworkers have called her through the years the Hammer. The helmet she wears is reminiscent of the fact that she's a Sparty. She went to MSU. And then have always called her my angel. So this is, my homage to her.
Yeah. You don't want to be tossing that one out there like that.
Right, exactly. And then this down here, I'll just touch on it for a moment. These are the books that I worked on before I started my own company. So this is for Affinity Storm Press and Red King Press.
So you have been in the comics industry for quite a few years.
Right. For over 6 years, I've been writing and producing comics.
Yeah. So folks, he knows what he knows whence he speaks when he talks about producing comics. And doggone it, did not do what I wanted to do there. Anyhow, I know you've got to jump. We're at 56 minutes. You've got to switch over streams. Brian, thanks for coming on and sharing with us the launch page here for Siamese. Glad that we could get you to 75%. Go over to ComicsMate now and get that other 25% from the Australian guys. They're awake.
There you go. Thanks so much for having me on. I appreciate you being back on number 38 and getting me to that 75.
Glad to do it. Folks in the chat, thank you so much for showing up.
Yes, hail the chat.
And as always, we